Once upon a time, in a kingdom far, far away, there lived a kind and curious princess named Lila. Lila loved exploring the royal garden, which was filled with flowers that sang, trees that whispered secrets, and butterflies that danced in the air. One day, while wandering through the garden, she discovered a mysterious bean glowing with a magical light. Curious about the magical bean, Lila decided to plant it in the softest patch of soil she could find. As soon as she covered it with earth, the ground began to rumble, and before her eyes, the bean sprouted into a gigantic beanstalk that reached high into the sky, disappearing into the clouds. With her adventurous spirit, Lila knew she had to see what was at the top of the beanstalk. She grabbed her backpack, filled it with a few snacks, and began her climb. The beanstalk was sturdy, and as she climbed higher and higher, she marveled at the breathtaking view of her kingdom below. After what felt like hours, Lila finally reached the top of the beanstalk. To her surprise, she found herself in a land above the clouds, where everything was soft and fluffy. In the distance, she spotted a magnificent castle made entirely of golden clouds, shimmering in the sunlight. Lila cautiously approached the castle and entered through the grand, cloud-like doors. Inside, she found herself in a gigantic garden filled with enormous plants, each one towering above her. The garden was unlike anything she had ever seen, with flowers as big as trees and vegetables the size of carriages. As Lila explored the garden, she heard a deep, rumbling voice. Turning around, she saw a giant, but not the scary kind. This giant had a gentle face, warm eyes, and a friendly smile. He introduced himself as Hugo, the guardian of the magical garden, and welcomed Lila to his home. Hugo explained that the garden was filled with magical plants, including the beans, like the one Lila had found. These beans held incredible power and could grow into all sorts of wonderful things. Lila listened in amazement as Hugo showed her around, revealing the secrets of the magical plants. Before Lila left, Hugo gave her a special gift, a small pouch filled with magic beans. He told her that these beans could help her kingdom in many ways, bringing prosperity and happiness. Lila thanked Hugo with a big smile, knowing that her adventure had only just begun. With the pouch of magic beans safely tucked away, Lila said goodbye to Hugo and began her descent down the beanstalk. As she climbed down, she couldn't help but feel excited about the wonderful things she could do with the magical beans back in her kingdom. When Lila returned home, she planted the magic beans in her royal garden. Soon, the kingdom flourished like never before. The beans grew into trees that bore fruit year-round, flowers that never wilted, and vines that healed the sick. Lila's kingdom became the happiest and most prosperous in all the land, thanks to the magic of the beanstalk and the kindness of a giant. And so, Princess Lila's adventure with the beanstalk brought magic and joy to her kingdom, showing that sometimes the smallest things, like a single bean, can lead to the grandest of adventures, and they all lived happily ever after.